I'm Brittany L. Stratton, an educational consultant, advocate, and doctoral student focusing on trauma-responsive education. I've watched Dr. Nadine Burke Harris's TED Talk, How Childhood Trauma Affects Health Across a Lifetime, more times than I can count, and every time I take away something new. Her talk connects the science of childhood trauma with the lived experiences of children, families, and educators in such a powerful way. In her video, Dr. Burke Harris discusses the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study by Felitti and Anda, a landmark research project that revealed the impact of early adversity on lifelong health. She explains that chronic stress from traumatic experiences changes brain architecture, disrupts the body's stress response, and can lead to major health issues later in life. One of the things that really stood out to me, though, is how recent this research is. It came out in 1998. I am older than the ACEs study, and that's wild to think about. I'm 34. It means we're still in the early stages of understanding trauma's full impact, and there are entire fields dedicated to studying it that don't exist yet. But here's another thing I noticed. I noticed that she said she practiced the way she was taught, and that she said she went to one of the best private hospitals in Northern California. But you know what I didn't hear? This is what I lived. This is how I experienced this. Her aha moment came when she was given the research. Now, the research is deeply, vastly important, but research helps us connect the lived to the scholarly. You can't have one without the other. So, what the ACEs study gives us, then, is the description of the problem through the detached scholarly lens of a researcher. And that matters. It is vital, but, well, we have to have that. What we need now, though, is a greater recognition of the problem as it is, without sugarcoating it, without trying to make it palatable. We have to confront the nitty-gritty in its darkness. That 80% of violence against children is done to them by their own parent or caregiver, and that the results of that are long-term, life-altering, physiological. It literally changes the structure of the brain. It can change their DNA. And the claim that this is the greatest health crisis in the U.S. isn't hyperbolic. As Dr. Burke Harris points out, 70% of the leading causes of death are related to ACEs. The question I come to again and again is this: what do we do about it? My brain works in terms of problems to be solved. I see something, and as a coping mechanism, I've trained my brain through intentional cognitive focus to see a problem, and rather than shut down, I try to solve it. As long as I can try to find a solution, I'm not trapped. That's a survival mechanism for me, because unlike Dr. Burke Harris, I openly talk about having lived numerous ACEs. The impact on my health has been debilitating. So I hear the problem. The CDC says 64% of Americans report having experienced at least one ACE. And I say, okay, what do we do about it? So here's what I want to shout from the rooftops, as Dr. Burke Harris put it. First, the brain is the only organ not fully formed at birth. Second, early childhood is the single most significant period of human development across the lifespan. And third, we need to be more specific about what trauma means instead of using it like a magic word. So what does this look like in practice? Well, that is where many people, through no fault of their own, because we've come to see the phrase trauma-informed and think, well, that's a buzzword. It's an excuse for bad behavior. Or I'm informed, that's good enough. So through no fault of their own, this is where many people come to struggle. But as Dr. Burke Harris said, this study just came out in 1998. And again, I'm older than this study. And so this is still new in the grand scheme of things. We're still learning. But here's my take on it. We need to shift our lens from trauma-informed to trauma-responsive. Being aware is not enough. I've lived the trauma. I'm plenty aware of it. But what do you do with it? So, I hope that as we continue to learn and research, and maybe even with the help of my own research, we can reach that place. And in doing so, we can make a difference at the time in a child's life that they need us, not just years later. Because if we can fix the water and not just hand out band-aids, we can change lives.